Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland.
Oh boy, let's do this.
Don't think the CIA is going to be trying to hack your second-gen iPod.
I didn't think so. There might have been a lot of illegal music on there. I wouldn't doubt it. But, I mean...
You were supposed to bring death to the flagships, not join them.
Google has found a new way to piss me off.
iTunes is a constant source of embarrassment.
Every time I say it, it's going to suck even more.
May I present to you the cat?
I am Nadella. I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing. Welcome, everyone, to the Calling All Platforms podcast. I am your host, Wes, and I'm here with Landon.
Hello.
And Caleb.
Hey, guys.
And we are here to talk about a lot of depressing things. I mean, all tech this week.
Tech news.
The tech world. Technology and goods and service. Anyway. Okay, let's get into this. First thing we want to talk about is the Nintendo's second Direct.
Yeah.
Let's get into this, shall we? So, first things first, it talked about the Nintendo Switch 2. It came in, so it gave us quite a few things to look at and actually find out a few things. One thing, the new C button. We're so excited. We needed the new C button to find out because it was on there to know what it does. Well, the C button is so that you push it and you can chat with others. You can
integrated
up the
chat. Integrated online chat with a console?
Integrated online
wow. Chat. Who else would have ever thought to do that aside from like PlayStation and Xbox in 2010?
Is it sad that Stadia had that too, or no? That one would have been too far. I'm sorry. No, okay. I'm going to try and be as optimistic as I can because before the podcast we started recording, Landon told me that I didn't like. Both Landon told both me and Caleb here aren't as enthusiastic about the Nintendo Switch. So I'm going to try.
No. What I said, that's not wrong. But what I said was that you're the only two people that seem to be crapping all over the Switch, whereas everyone else.
We never said we were crapping on it. We just weren't excited.
Listen, they have been doing chat so badly for so long that I feel like this one is totally justified that we can take some crap out on them.
Yeah.
Finally, it seems like they're fixing it, right? Like it's basically going to be, your console level party chat, voice chat and stuff like that. And even streaming stuff is kind of like Discord where you could like stream to your friends and that kind of thing. So like, this is good stuff. I'm happy that it's on the Switch 2. It just probably should have been on the Wii U. Like that's when they probably should have introduced this.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. I'm also going to be, I'm taking this from someone that always gets really annoyed whenever Android gets a feature that the iPhone had for a long time, and the iPhone user's like, oh, welcome to the such and such year, or vice versa, when iPhone, usually it's this way, when iPhone finally gets something, widgets for one thing, and other things, live wallpapers, all sorts of stupid stuff that's been there forever on Android, I always hate that. And it's like, why don't you just be happy that the other people have this now? That's my opinion on it. I mean, yes, they should have done this 15 years ago. I agree. But
there's a subtle difference. There's a subtle difference. I think that this level of chat integration into a game console is not like your kind of a preference item like widgets. Because some people just don't use widgets on Android or iPhone. Now that it's available on both platforms, there are people that still don't use them. I don't use them that much. I have a couple of visual widgets that I use, and that's kind of it. But this is more like USB-C on the iPhone.
That's fair.
It's that level. And again, I do feel like when Apple finally put that on the iPhone, that should have happened so long before they actually did it that it definitely was worth taken some crap on that one. I feel like this is at that level. I'm not going to dunk on the Nintendo Switch for not having the hardware capacity or the graphics fidelity of like a PlayStation 5 or something like that.
Right.
Because all of that is quality of life stuff that depends on your use case. And that's not the audience. Like the people that are super into that is not the audience being targeted by Nintendo. So they designed the console completely differently. All of that, very much true. But basic in-game voice chat for multiplayer titles, I do feel like that one maybe justifies the ire a bit.
That is fair. That is fair. But that's also something that I also would never use as if I had a Switch.
That's valid.
And I know multiple people that also wouldn't ever use that because they don't care. But I'm also not the type of person that like I haven't been in like doing gaming enough in the past 15 years when that's been something people want to do. So maybe if I'd kept in the gaming, into that for that long, maybe I would care more. But to me, if I got a Switch, I'm like, I bought this so I can play games with myself or with people that are in the room, physically in the room with me.
Yes.
And so I don't need it. I don't care. I do like that it's there mostly because if I do get one and my kids are playing it, they have friends that have a Switch, they can play with them. And they do like that. Like they play Roblox and they chat with their friends, and that's great. So for them, that's where I could see it being used. For me, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing. Like Nintendo does have kind of a reputation of being the last holdout in support of couch co-op as an emphasis in their first-party games. So they've sort of been able to skirt around this being a significant issue based on that. But it was a significant piece of lacking functionality. True. That I think, honestly, the lack of the functionality might not have been so egregious if they hadn't claimed that the functionality existed and then sent you to an app you had to download separately on your smartphone. Like, that's where I feel like it was like, not only do you not support it, but this is your solution. Like, that's kind of insulting, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Which I think it's that makes it rise to the level of Apple's insistence that Lightning was so much better than USB-C. No, Apple. It wasn't. It hadn't been for a very, very long time. And then the comment that, we'd have to make the phones thicker if we switched to... What? That's... Anyways. I don't know. I feel like that's probably enough said about the fact that Nintendo has finally added voice chat to their console. But...
yeah. So we have that. They do have an option to where you can actually plug in a camera as well. And if you wanted to not only share your game, but have your face on there and talking. Sweet.
I actually thought the implementation of this was actually kind of cool. Like, especially like if you're playing Mario Kart, your little person has the bubble following them versus just an overlay of you.
Party and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, just an overlay of you on the screen, which it can do as well. But I like the, it just kind of follows you around type thing. That was kind of neat.
At least they didn't require it. That's good. Require it like a Kinect or something.
Yeah.
Speaking of Nintendo features, they also have a side companion called the Xbox Nintendo app that you can have as a game companion. I'm sorry. I had to make fun of this one. I had to. So what you can do on some selected games that when you purchase the upgrade version, so for example, the Legend of Zelda, for the Nintendo Switch 2 version that you have to purchase, even if you have the old one, you can now, on the Nintendo app on your phone, can bring up, they call it Zelda Notes. You can bring up notes, maps, and all sorts of stuff like a game companion on your phone. Which, cool. This was also a Xbox Smart Glass, I believe is what it was called.
It's going to be really cool, especially when somebody makes a case for the Switch 2 that lets you dock your phone right underneath it, like it's a giant freaking DS.
I like it. Yep, I like it. So no, that's another feature, game feature. Someone wants to look at that. I can see how people would like that. I actually, to be honest and to be fair, I actually used that when Xbox had it. Back when I'd play Fable or something, I'd bring up my phone and show all the maps of Fable and things. To be fair, I didn't mind it, so I used it. So I did have to throw it out there, like, this seems very familiar. Let's move on with Game Share. They talked about Game Shares, where a Nintendo Switch 2 player will be able to invite up to 3 other players to temporarily play the same game together via local play with their Nintendo Switch 2 or Nintendo Switch system, which I thought was kind of cool. I was like, that's actually pretty cool. Like, hey, bring your Switch. I got the new whatever game. Let's play it together. So yeah. I actually did think that was pretty cool.
Again, Nintendo are kind of the only ones that are still putting any kind of actual emphasis on the couch co-op experience in 2025. So that's nice.
Well, yeah. I mean, they kind of have to lean into that because it is a portable console, whereas
that's
PlayStation
true. Yeah.
and Xbox are not.
That is their strong suit.
Yes. And I do like the fact, I mean, if I'm remembering this correctly, the other people don't have to have purchased the game. Only one person has to purchase it. And that's why they do limit it to only 3 people. But that does make it so you and some friends can play, like one person can play, check out this new game I got, and then you can all play it, which is really cool.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying, like, I'm like, that's pretty cool. Now, with all these features, they are going to have you, it is required, it says here, on the Nintendo Switch Online subscription. So you will have to have this. It'll be required for game chat, as well as online multiplayer. And with the Switch 2, you will be able to access the GameCube games on the expansion pack that's on there as well. So,
see, that by itself is reason to buy this new Switch for me, anyways, because the GameCube,
that's your game right there.
I had a Wii. That's the last Nintendo product that I owned was a Wii, but I also had a GameCube. Now, I always bought Nintendo device or consoles long after when I finally bought a GameCube. The Wii had probably been out for 5 years. And I got a GameCube my friend was going to trade it in at a GameStop, and they were willing to give him $20 for it, which is it's GameStop. They don't give you anything for anything.
Yeah.
But he owed me $20. He's like, "How about, do you want it?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So he gave me his GameCube and some games and controllers and stuff, and it was fantastic. I absolutely loved that. So some of the games that are on GameCube, I'd be like, "Oh, that's amazing." I mean, one of the main reasons I wanted to switch anyways was to play all the old N64, NES, and like those type of games. So the fact that they're just adding the GameCube games to that makes it even better.
Yep. No, and it's true. There's a lot of people that like the GameCube. Like me, I play all the original NES and Super NES. The Switch is the emulator that I pay a subscription for to play all those games. Like, that's me. My kids, they're like, "Oh yeah, we want to play the new Peach game and all this." I'm like, "Hey, anyone want to play Super Mario 3 with me?" It's just, that's me. So I get it. Man. I get it.
There are some new games that I would go buy and want to play and stuff like that. But the majority of the gameplay that I would be making or use with this would be all those older games because they're just great.
It is. So, but also they did say that they are going to allow people without a subscription to try out the game chat all the way through to the end of March 2026. So it will be for free for people to try out, but after that, you'll have to have a subscription on there. There's 2 subscriptions. There's the regular subscription, which is just for online stuff, and it says that just any subscription is required. But for the GameCube one, it does say you have to have the expansion pack membership, which is obviously the more expensive one. And I can't remember how much it is off the top of my head, and I didn't look. but it's a lot cheaper than, let's be real, it's a lot cheaper than, say, Xbox or PlayStation.
Yeah.
So it's like $80 a year or something like that. So yeah. It also did talk about basically a lot of the upgraded versions from the Switch to the Switch 2, meaning like the actual hardware itself. So talking about the screen being a lot bigger, obviously that it can now go up to 120 hertz on a lot of things. It did talk about both on docked and undocked modes, that you can now have 1080p, which great. And I mean, you don't need anything more than that, to be honest, for handheld gaming.
Oh yeah. No, the screen on the handheld going up to 1080p, you're good. That's it.
Yeah,
you're good. You're solid.
Yeah.
The dock now has a fan so that they can overclock while it's docked.
Yes.
More effectively, and they're claiming 4K gaming. That's what they're claiming.
Up to 4K. Yeah, we'll say up to 4K.
Yeah,
on there. So, which
I mean, the new chip they've got powering this thing is it's a follow up to the NVIDIA Tegra platform that was in the original Switch. It's a couple of years old, but it's a lot more powerful than the one that was in the original Switch, and has support for both ray tracing, like hardware ray tracing,
right,
and AI upscaling. So like it supports, it's not DLSS, but some form of AI upscaling is happening on the console. Probably happens automatically, would be my guess, and is probably the reason that they can say it will output 4K. It's probably rendering much lower resolutions than 4K and then AI upscaling it to 4K. And that's what they're saying. Yes, you can get a playable 4K frame rate out of this handheld. Yeah, okay, but it's AI upscaled. So remains to be seen how good quality, like if it matches up to like DLSS 3, then everyone is going to be fine with that, right? Like people are not going to complain about that. That's good enough visual quality. It's not going to be an issue. If it's much worse than DLSS 3, then we might have issues, but hopefully it's that good.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Joy-Cons. The Joy-Con 2 controllers, they are now attached magnetically, which good. I mean, that
I do like that.
I think that's smoother. I do like that. The SL and SR buttons are actually larger on the side, so when we would play with that, which is good. Either Joy-Con controller can now be operated like a mouse,
and both at the same time.
I'm not going to say yes or no on this, like whether I like it or not. I think for me, I got to try it just because.
Yeah.
If I'm going to play a game like that for a long time and my hand cramps, like I'm old, my hand, with a weird mouse, like the way it's shaped, I'm like, and I have gorilla monkey sausage fingers, guys. Like, I don't know.
That's not going to be a good mouse experience.
Right.
At all. But to be fair, it's Joy-Cons. Like, it's Joy-Cons. It's a terrible controller experience, too. Like, Joy-Cons are just bad at doing everything other than being small. That's what they're good at, is being small. So yeah, it's an interesting feature ad.
Yeah, I do think that if there are games that take advantage of it, it could be really interesting. And probably be nice. But at the moment, there's just not a lot of games that really.
Right.
I mean, they kind of made it work on some games when they showcased it, but it's not like it wasn't made for that. So at the moment, it's kind of look what we did. We made our game controller a mouse. It's like, well, why? That's weird.
I like the idea that they're trying something. I mean, it's Nintendo, but like I said, I'd have to mess with it myself to really be like, hey, this is good or bad. Just because, like I said, my monkey hands on a Joy-Con trying to, I don't know, trying to make a mouse.
Yeah.
Just wait until Microsoft sees this, like, oh, that's a great idea. So they're going to end up making it like
turn your controller on the side.
No. I thought this through. So what they're going to do?
Okay.
Since your Xbox is already a computer, basically, they're going to make it so you can break the controller in half, and on one side is a keyboard and the other side is the mouse.
I mean, you could also just plug a mouse into your Xbox.
I was gonna
That's
say,
totally
you just
supported
plug a
right
mouse.
now.
I mean, yes, you can do that. But why not have it just included, right?
It's true.
Oh, see, the thing is,
I didn't say it was a good idea.
I can see the use case for this on, first-person shooters, right? Like Overwatch 2. That's on the Switch, right? So, okay, I'm a PC Master Race dude. 100%, I would rather be able to split my controller in half, use half of it as a mouse for, aiming, and the other half, I can use the joystick for movement. That's whatever. I use a keyboard for that most of the time. Joystick, whatever, it's fine. So, that's fine. It's the shape of the Joy-Con as a mouse. I just don't think that's going to work. But if this does kind of, support for this does catch on, and it's widely implemented in various games that you can use this thing as a mouse for aiming and that kind of thing, I can totally see third-party accessory makers making Joy-Cons that are gigantic, chunky monstrosities when you attach them to the console, but when you take them off, they're shaped more like a mouse so that you can actually use them as a mouse. I would be interested to see if we get stuff like that.
Well, actually, there already is one.
Wait, really?
I just Googled it because I swear I saw this already. And
that took no time.
It's on makerworld.com. So it's a 3D print thing that you can make, and you just 3D print this thing, and you just put your Joy-Con in it, and you can still have access to all the buttons on the side, and it makes it a lot more ergonomical and much better to use. And I'm looking at it, and it's actually quite brilliant.
Perfect. There you go.
There it is.
I think that makes this a compelling feature.
There you go. I like it. All right. Let's see. We were talking about the Joy-Cons. Here we go. And the next thing that they talked about on there will be that the Nintendo Switch 2 will come with 256 gigabytes of internal storage compared to the 32 gigabytes in the original Switch.
Thank goodness.
And it's going to be faster storage too.
Yeah. My favorite video talking about that specifically was MKBHD was doing a hands-on with the Switch, and he in the background in his studio he had a screen with his original Switch docked, and it only has 3 games because that's all he can fit on it. And I thought it was hilarious.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
So it'll support the faster read and write speeds, like we said. And it does say that you have to have, if you're going to put the memory cards in there, it has to be the express memory cards. It doesn't take the old ones anymore. So if you're wanting more storage that way.
Yeah. Though, to be fair, listener, if you're still using non-express enabled micro SD cards for anything in your life, do yourself a favor. Upgrade.
Yeah, seriously.
You're going to find things.
That's it.
Just
upgrade.
I was, what was I even looking at the other day? Some Linux forum, and they're talking about how no, you really can't run Linux off of a micro SD card, right? You can do it off of USB thumb drives now that we have higher speed thumb drives, right? USB 3, Gen 2, whatever, stuff like that. Speeds are fast enough. You can boot some lighter Linux distros off of the thumb drive directly, and that's okay. It's a usable experience. But SD cards, micro SD cards, they're just too slow and yada, yada, yada. And then I'm just sitting here looking at some of the specs they were talking about, and I'm like, guys, use some SD cards that were made after 2015.
Yeah.
I think your experience might be a little bit different. It was, I don't know. Well, and it didn't help that the hardware they were talking about was an old laptop that was legitimately connecting the SD card to the internal logic of the computer via USB 1 ports. And I was just like, what? That was a USB 1 connection. Okay, so the issue here isn't the micro SD card. It's your hardware, dude. Anyways. So yes, listener, get new SD cards. They're pretty dang cheap.
Yeah.
They're not expensive.
All right. So then they also talked about, well, that was pretty much of the hardware that's on there. The next thing we're going to talk about is the Nintendo Switch 2 games. So they categorize these into three different categories. So we'll talk about the actual made for Nintendo Switch 2 games. This is going to be like the first one that they talked about was Mario Kart World, which is a lot like if you liked Forza Horizon, that's kind of where they kind of rip this off. It's the free roam system, the weather system that's a lot like Forza, but in Mario Kart. So, and they do plan to share more on this. That they're going to give their own direct to Mario Kart World here, and I think it's at April 17th. So, if you're really interested in that, take a look. They also teased about another few games here, Kirby Air Riders. It's kind of like a Mario Kart style game. I guess it's a sequel to a 2003 GameCube game.
Yeah.
That's Kirby Air. So they talked about Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is a 3D platformer game, destructible environments, things like that. And another, I guess this is a sequel to, it's called Hyrule Warriors, but it's set in this new Zelda.
Yeah. Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild.
Kingdom, yeah.
That kind of.
So,
yep.
In that universe. So they did also talk about third-party games that are coming, which is like an Elden Ring, Hades 2, Street Fighter 6, EA Sports. They did talk about Cyberpunk 2077. The Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming to the Switch. Dang it. I wish it would come to Xbox, but nope. And Borderlands 4. They did have the third party, but they also introduced and teased a new project called Project 007 with a new James Bond game coming to the Nintendo Switch 2.
Nice.
Thought that was cool. They did say that they will also, in this other category, is have Nintendo Switch 2 upgrades for older games. So they will call them, we'll have an edition called the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of a game. And these, you have to actually, if you own the Nintendo Switch 1 version of this game, you do have to purchase an upgrade. I can't remember what they called it, but like an upgrade packet to get to the Nintendo Switch 2 edition.
It's essentially just like buying add-ons to the game to ensure compatibility, because Nintendo's official statement on backwards compatibility with Switch 1 games was essentially just maybe. Their official statement was basically just like, look, it's the same platform kinda, but technically there are some like architectural changes that Nvidia made on their side that means we aren't 100% positive that Switch 1 games will run flawlessly on the Switch 2. We've started testing all of them, and we're like making a list, but we're not all the way through that list. And there's a few high profile games that did have some issues. And so we have essentially revamped, like we've redone some parts of that game, and you have to pay extra to get the version that is guaranteed to work on the Switch 2. And we'll have like upgraded textures and stuff like that too, I'm sure. But it was very much like so hey, backwards compatibility with Switch 1? If you're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to promise anything.
Yeah. So basically, the way they said it, they said these games will support new features like mouse control, camera support, and higher resolutions and frame rates. To get that, you will have to buy an upgrade pack for it. So, and they came out with a couple lists of this, like the Super Mario Party Jamboree, Sid Meier's Civilization, Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom, and the Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and Metroid Prime 4. So, but those are the ones that they mentioned, and obviously there's going to be a whole lot more, because, they want you to pay for it. So, So yeah, that's that was a lot of that stuff. So let's talk.
Wait, you missed one.
I did.
Yeah, you missed the biggest one.
The biggest
Bloodborne
one.
2. I mean, sorry, Dustbloods.
Dustbloods. I was like, what?
FromSoft announced a Nintendo Switch exclusive
I did
Soulsborne game that looks an awful lot like Bloodborne 2, but obviously isn't Bloodborne 2 because Sony has a death grip on the rights to that game. But yeah, it's called Dustbloods, and it looks like this is kind of the spiritual successor to Bloodborne. And it's a Nintendo exclusive, which is weird. Like, what are you doing, FromSoft? I know what they're doing. Making money, hand over fist.
Yep.
So that's fair.
So now let's talk about when this is going to be released. They announced that it will be released on June 5th. And the price. $449.99 in the US, obviously. Now, at the time of the video, that's what they said the price is going to be.
Yeah.
So, but then later...
Well, and pre-orders were supposed to go live for it, like, on the 16th or 19th or something like that of this month, right? Like, pre-orders were coming soon at $450 for the console. And then I think it was the next day.
The next day, the retail. It says pre-order from select retailers on April 9th.
Oh, the 9th. Oh,
so
yeah.
The 9th.
So it was supposed to be like now, listener, essentially.
Correct. But they decided to hold off on pre-orders because there are new things for the government that said that tariffs.
Yep.
That are hitting all technologies and goods and services and all that stuff.
And penguins. Don't forget the penguins.
So they said that they have to see and reevaluate. And so it is very possible and highly likely that that price of $449 will go up.
Yeah. Seems likely.
So we will find out and report from there. So, and not only that, just remember, listener, this isn't just for the Switch. This is going to be all technology, and
we'll get into that.
So, overall, I think I do like the improvements. I do think that this being the Switch 2 is just innovating on the stuff that they like to make better for the original. Good on them. Magnetic. Going for magnetic instead of the slides for the Joy-Cons. I like that. They did say the Joy-Cons are bigger. Cool, which is great, but let's find out if they actually get drift or not. So
yeah, I was going to say, do they have Hall effect joysticks?
I know.
Because that matters way more.
Didn't say. But I think overall, yes, it's nice to see them innovate and make a good leap of technology to move forward, to do better frame rates, better things. Game chat.
Yeah.
It's good. It is good. But that price, man. We did talk about game price.
Yeah, because that's another thing that also seems to be increasing. Nintendo first-party games have historically been pretty expensive just in general and tend to be never on sale, which is really obnoxious. And the new Mario Kart, the price they announced for it was the digital version was going to be $80. The retail, like physical edition, was $90. So physical copies of games costing more than digital ones, okay, that makes sense. I understand that. I'll accept that. The supply chain, distribution chain, and stuff like that. That costs more. Fine. I'm not sold on the digital game itself costing $80. That's my first issue. And, but at least they have more storage on the console for that now. I'm also not sold on the concept that some of these physical editions of the games aren't actually going to have game data on them.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be a storage card that just has a game key that will enable, like, you plug it in and your Switch can then download the game. It's a digital. So you're paying for a physical copy or physical key for a digital game, which does not mean that you'll be able to play it if the digital version is no longer available, which is kind of the hope of having physical copies of stuff, is that if the digital version goes up in smoke because a storefront closes down, you'll still be able to play the physical version. But that's not how some of these games, at least, are going to be, based on what Nintendo is saying. And paying $90 for that feels like a kick in the teeth.
Yeah.
So it was like, for me, $450 for the console is like more than I wanted it to be, but not necessarily more than I would expect. It didn't seem ridiculously unfair, just a little bit pricey. The games, though, no, if this is really the direction we're going in with the pricing, Nintendo, you lost me. You lost me right there. $80 for a digital copy of a game ain't happening. That is not, I've never paid that much money for any game. And it's not even close, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the thing that was like, from a pricing perspective. Yes, we don't know what the actual eventual price in the US is going to be for the Switch 2. Probably more than $450, but it's the game pricing. I'm like, so basically I buy a Switch 2, I buy like 3 games, and I'm suddenly paying more than a PS Pro and 3 games. Ooh. That's rough.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that also, when other publishers and other things like, oh, Nintendo did it.
Right. They take that as a justification. Like,
Yes.
yep, now we can all do it. Which is, I mean, it's like Apple in the smartphone world.
Yep.
Apple's all like, hey, $1,000 for this smartphone back in, when was that, 2018? Whenever the X launched.
Yeah.
And everyone, and Samsung was literally like the next year, hey, $1,000 for a smartphone. Like, oh, thanks, Apple. I hate you.
Yeah.
So Nintendo does it, $90 for a physical game. Yeah, that's going to be all of PlayStation's games next year. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Now, the one benefit, like, if I were to buy one, and the only game so far that I would care about buying that's new is that Mario Kart World, because I think it looks pretty fun.
It does.
I would buy
the
bundle, and right now the bundle that they are advertising is only $500 for both the Switch and the game, which is actually a really good deal. So if that
gets the game for $50, which is a reasonable price to pay.
Yeah. So, listener, if you are interested in buying both of those, you know, the game and the console, do it that way, because it's going to be cheaper. Now, again, that might not happen, or that might not be the price inside the U.S. when they finally announce that again.
Yeah.
But outside of the U.S., that is currently the price. So,
yes,
if you are interested in that, do it that way. And that, I mean, generally, that's how I would buy most first-party games.
Oh yeah.
If you don't have the console already, bundle it with something, because that's the only way you get any sort of quote-unquote discount from Nintendo.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever bought a console that didn't come with a game bundled.
Yeah.
And I feel like, just don't do that, especially Nintendo consoles.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, my Switch came with a copy of Mario Kart. My Wii came with a copy of Super Mario Bros. Wii. The Wii that my parents bought, that came with a copy of Wii Sports, I think. Like,
yeah, you always
get a bundle.
Yeah.
That's
Yep. So that's it. That's that's what we talked about. Anyone else have any thoughts on, for the Nintendo, the Direct, the Switch, the games, anything more?
Nope.
Well, we'll update you when we find out the actual price.
Yeah.
Who knows when that's going to happen? It'll be this next week or whenever they decide to. And then we'll report. All right, let's go ahead and move on. We have some Microsoft news here. Oh boy. Microsoft closes backdoor for installing Windows 11 without an online account.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Don't you? Listener Landon got a new soundboard.
So if you randomly hear me or Caleb just going off with some random thing, Yes, that is us, but
there's even odds that it was a thing that we said years ago.
Yeah, what everything that is in their voice on this soundboard was from previous episodes.
It's not like he went and did like an AI synthesis of our voices and stuff. We've just said a lot of obnoxious and dumb things over the past however many years we've been. Whoops. Yep.
That one. Anyways,
Windows 11.
Yeah, so Windows 11.
So Windows 11 continues to be just kind of garbage in general, but in particular this past week, a feature that people had been using during the Windows 11 install process to bypass the need to sign in with a Microsoft account in order to finish installation, they patched that out. It's no longer an option. For the average user who is going to install this once and probably doesn't really care that much that they have to sign up for a Microsoft account, assuming that they don't have an Xbox and already have a Microsoft account or something like that, this isn't a huge bother, just not that big of a deal. It is, however, kind of a giant deal for like people who are building PCs and selling them. Because you don't want to have to sign into every single one of those with your personal Microsoft account before you ship it to your end customer.
Yeah.
What the F? When, like, Microsoft, why? What are you doing? Like, now, turns out that there is another workaround that somebody else discovered after this happened, where it's essentially the same thing. You open up a command prompt, you type in a command, and then it lets you bypass the requirement to actually sign in. So that you can create a local account, admin account, and finish setting up the computer, and then shut the thing down, send it to your customer, and they can then sign in with their Microsoft account and set the thing up the way they would like it to be. But it was just one of those things where it's all like, yes, good. Microsoft continues to Microsoft all over this Windows 11. Just keep up the good work, fellas.
Jeez. Microsoft. Sometimes. I guess it's more like Windows 11 just sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and get into some general tech news. I don't even want to say it. U.S. tech price increases expected.
Just across the board. So, listener, you're probably aware of the tariffs that have been put into place by the federal government of the United States. It's a range of tariffs that have been described by some people, namely, look, I'm not an economist. Okay? I'm not an economist, did not go to school for that, did not study that. It's not my area of expertise, listener. It really isn't. My area of expertise is Linux and a base understanding of software, right? Like that's where I come in. So I'm not going to analyze what these tariffs are or what they mean. Actual economists have said that there's a greater than 50% chance that this triggers a recession inside the United States, that it's going to result in a gigantic shift in the trade in marketplaces across the world, and that we should probably expect to see pretty much everything increase in price in the United States itself as a result of this. And that's what I'm taking from it, because that's what the economists are saying, the people who actually do study that. So from a consumer of technology perspective, this is mostly just going to result in the tech that you want, that was already kind of creeping up in price faster than you wanted it to, and in particular faster than you would expect it to, based on the fact that over the past 20 years, tech has generally been getting cheaper. Was doing that slowly over time for a very long time, and then over the past year and change, it's kind of maybe 3 years, especially for things like GPUs. Prices have just started going up, and you're like, oh geez, this is increasing faster than I want it to. Expect that to accelerate is essentially the takeaway here. which means that tech is going to just, generally speaking, be more out of reach. You're going to have to go longer between upgrades. You're going to have to settle for slightly lower tier versions of tech than you normally would. Just as, for instance, Apple insiders have been talking to folks like Mark Gurman and suggesting that this year's iPhones, like just the normal iPhone, not like, well, I guess the normal Pro, not the Pro Max, could cost in excess of $2,000. $2,000, which would sure make the $600 price point for the iPhone 16e seem really reasonable. So, just stuff like that is sort of what is the scuttlebutt is suggesting right now. Obviously, most of these companies were sort of blindsided by the extent of the tariffs as much as the consumers have been. So they don't know exactly how much their own prices are going to go up by in order to address these tariffs. So we can't say anything for sure right now. But tech is going to get more expensive. And it's going to become a little bit more inaccessible. And since this podcast has been about general consumers and our relationship with tech, I think that you may want to tune into our new podcast. We're going to be starting up shortly about bookbinding and board games, because I think that's where we're going to end up in terms of entertainment over the next couple of years, assuming tech continues to get more out of reach of average consumers. So, yeah, that's why Nintendo canceled pre-orders for the Switch 2 in the US, is so that they could review the situation and keep their profit margins intact, right? Like, that's their motivation. That's the motivation of all of these tech companies, is how do I keep my profit margins intact? So I would say if you don't have any like retro game consoles in your house and you want to play games, maybe think about getting a retro game console and some games for it, and take good care of those. I think that's going to be a good thing to fall back on as
just in case
first party Nintendo games jump to $90 a piece, and consoles are, who knows, the PS5 Pro could be going for $1,000 within the next couple of months. Stuff like that, it's just really up in the air. So take good care of the tech you've got, listener. Take good care of the tech you've got.
Yeah.
Because who knows how things are going to shake out.
And like the really unfortunate side, well, not that none of that is unfortunate, because obviously it is, but even more unfortunate to me is once these prices go up, do you really think that if these tariffs go away, the prices are going to come down? Because most likely not, unfortunately. That's not the way these companies work. If they have a reason to justify charging more, they're not going to not charge that if people start paying for it, because they're like, well, people are buying it, so we'll just keep it at that price.
Yep.
So I'm not looking forward to this at all.
Yeah. Well, we'll just have to keep you updated, hopefully.
Yeah. And I don't know, I'm serious about the board game podcast. That might be a thing. Instead of computer games, maybe let's talk about board games. They're cheaper. You can make them out of some leftover boxes that you found at the dump or whatever. Yep. I'm feeling very Fallout about like how things are going to go here.
Right.
It's like, I've got a bunch of sticks. I'm making a chess set.
All right. Let's quit talking about that. Let's move on. We're going to talk about the Huawei Pura X.
Yeah. So speaking of phones that, you're not going to buy this anyways because it's only available in China from what I understand. But I wanted to mention it because it's interesting. So Huawei made a new flip phone that it's what you would consider the flip. It's not a fold phone. It's a flip phone. But instead of flipping upwards, it flips sideways. Sure. And then you have to rotate it for it to be it's interesting.
A little weird. Yeah.
It is a little
weird.
Like
it took me the longest time to really figure out. I'm like, I still don't fully know like haven't seen it other than in their video, like seeing it opening, and then I'm like, it's really confusing when you just look at it in their video how it's supposed to work, because I haven't seen it in anybody's hands yet to actually show, okay, this is what it does, but I don't know why, for me it doesn't look like, when I look at it as it closed and then I look at it opened, they don't match. It doesn't look, it's just weird. So I need to actually see somebody physically holding this thing, opening it and closing it, to be like, okay, now I get how things work. Because just looking at a picture of it open and a picture of it closed, it doesn't look like it should work that way, but it does somehow. But it's just an interesting phone. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's only going to be available in China. It's not running Android. It's running Huawei's own operating system, from what I understand.
Yeah, what's that called?
Oh, I'm
drawing
I can't remember. But I don't know if it's the first phone running their own OS, but
I don't think it is.
Harmony OS is what Harmony OS Next. Wow, that's an awful name. You could have just done Harmony OS, Huawei, not Next. Anyways, but I mean it doesn't use AOSP. I don't know if it's built, like if the base is Android, but it's not right. It doesn't have any Google apps, so obviously because it's Huawei and they're not allowed to use Google apps. So, but yeah, it's an interesting looking phone. If you have a time to go look it up, because like I said, if you just look at the pictures, it doesn't fully make sense. But it's an interesting phone because it's just a slightly different take on the flipping phone.
Yeah.
It's like a flop phone. It's like a folding flop flipping
flop phone.
a falafel. It's a falafel.
The falafel. There you go.
I'm still going with the flop phone. That's amazing. The flop. The Huawei Pura X flop. I love it.
Basically.
All right. Is that everything you want to say about it?
Yeah.
The flop. All right. We're going to move on to some gaming news. This one's a little better, listener, a little more exciting than what we have been talking about. Obviously, the Huawei Pura flop is a little bit better than what we were talking about, but Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic on Apple Arcade.
Yeah, I had to say something positive this week. Because I was sad. But a couple of days ago, Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic was added to Apple Arcade. So this is the mobile port of technically the first two Roller Coaster Tycoon games that launched on like DOS and Windows.
Long time ago.
The 386.
Yeah, like 3.1. Like, these are freaking old games, okay? But, I mean, they're so good. Like, these are some of the original sim management games ever made. These are, like, back there with SimCity and stuff like that.
Yep.
Like, they're old, but they stuck around and inspired an entire genre for a reason. Absolute stone cold classic.
Yes.
And yeah, it's, this is the mobile port of it, right? So it's been updated for touch controls and stuff like that. However, it does also work on Macs. So, if you want to play it on a computer with a mouse like God intended, let's be honest, then you can totally do that. It does, I will say, I have tried it on my phone. It's awesome. It's everything that my early 90s, recollection recalls. So that's great. And I did install it on my Mac Mini, and I did open it up, and everything seemed to be okay. After I sorted through, it starts the game in full screen, but then it also started the game at 480 pixels. It was tiny down in one corner. But if I left full screen and then went back into full screen, then it was actually full screen and It worked okay. So that was fine. Everything seemed to be okay. Reviews on the Mac version do suggest that if you're playing it on a Retina screen, so if you're on like a MacBook Pro or something like that, and you're playing it on the built-in monitor, then all of the interface text is scaled way too small, like barely readable. The buttons are all too tiny and that kind of thing. And if you plug in a separate monitor and you have dual monitors, then it doesn't work at all. So
really?
if you're going to play it on a MacBook Pro, you have to plug into a non-Retina display. So my display on my Mac Mini is 1440p, and that seemed to be fine. If you have a 1080p display, I'm sure that would also work great. But if you're going to do that, plug into a separate monitor, you have to close the lid on the MacBook, turn off that display in order for it to work. So there's definitely some hoops that you need to jump through with this sucker on the Mac port at least, but the iOS port seems to be great. And that makes sense. This is an iOS game, right? Like this game has existed on iOS for a while. They're just adding it to Apple Arcade. So if you're already subscribed to that, like I am, then it's just there. No ads, no microtransactions, just play it. And that's nice. It made my week a lot brighter.
Good news. Well, that's all the news that we have for this episode, dear listener. Unless, Landon, you got one more thing for us. Yahoo!
Yes, I do.
There it is.
I knew I'd regret that, but hey.
You know what? I am so happy you did it because it just makes the best soundbite ever. I do have one more thing, and it is good news-ish. I mean, it's not bad news, I'll say that. It's a few things that I wanted to mention that happened during April Fools on the internet, because there's always stuff on the internet for April Fools, including something we did last week. Listener, if you didn't catch that, go back and listen to the first part of the podcast. But the few things I did want to mention, I think my favorite one, and this generally tends to be the case almost every year, but Dbrand, if you don't know who Dbrand is, they are a company that makes like skins for your phones. Like they have a few cases, like the little sticker things that go on the back of your phone to give it a little color or design or something like that, you know. That's what Dbrand is. And they're really high quality, really nice stickers, more or less.
Yeah.
And even their cases are really, really good. And also, if you don't follow them on social media, you should, because their marketing and social teams are the best. And this is a good example of that. So this new skin they came out with for April Fools, on their website, it says it's time to touch grass. And this basically is a skin that is actually made with artificial turf grass that you can put on your devices. And I say devices because it's not just for phones. And yes, you actually can buy this right now. That's the other thing I love about Dbrand, is when they make an April Fool's joke, they actually make an April Fool's joke that you can purchase. And they have it, like, on their website is showing it for, like, the iPhone. You can get it for your MacBook Pro, your Nintendo Switch, your Steam Deck. They've got it wrapped around an Xbox. It's all fantastic. And I mean, if you have the money to do it, why not? Because it's just fantastic. And I mean, if you go to their website, go to dbrand.com/touchgrass, I think will lead you there. The little part of their website they made for this is also fantastic. It's like Windows 95 looking menus and stuff like that. That's amazing. It's excellent. So that was my favorite April Fool's joke for this year, just because it's just great. It's fantastic. The next one was the brand Nothing. They have some earbuds that they sell, some Bluetooth earbuds. They came out with some new earbuds. They're called the Ear 3.5 millimeter. So these are wired earbuds that have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack on them. But the best part about it is they want you to be able to enjoy the benefits of wired headphones but also the benefits of Bluetooth. So this includes a 50-meter cable. So that you can leave your phone in one room and then go to if you're, watching TV or something, you can leave your phone on the couch and walk into the kitchen and grab a drink and not have to take your earbuds out. But you still have wired headphones, so, bonus.
I'm really curious how much actual power you would have to pump into that cable to get 50 meters worth of signal integrity across that cable. Would the wires just melt? Probably. And that, I think, makes it even better.
Yeah. Well, what also makes this even better than that is the fact that none of the phones that Nothing sells have a headphone jack. So you wouldn't even be able to use it with any of their own phones.
That's amazing.
It's great. I don't know if this was actually available to purchase or not, but it's still
I
really
sure
funny.
hope not. Oh my gosh, it wouldn't even work.
Oh, it would be hilarious. And then the last one is only slightly tech related. So the Duolingo app, it's one of the more popular language learning apps out there. I know a lot of people that use it. They announced the Duolingo World Cruise, and they announced it as being able to go, I think they said 196 countries, and being able to learn the language and speak it in the country of origin, where they speak that language. And then they also said this cruise is 5 years long.
Jeez.
It's fantastic. They did put out a promotional video on YouTube for this, so just look up the Duolingo World Cruise on YouTube. You'll find it. And one of my favorite parts about it is they say, if you don't, well, I don't know exactly what they said, but more or less, if you don't keep your streak going in Duolingo, like your daily streak, then you get kicked off the cruise. Doesn't matter where you're at on the cruise. It's like, nope, you're done. So if you go on the cruise, make sure you keep up with your lessons every day, because if you don't, you're just going to be stuck somewhere in Africa or wherever you happen to be. And then at the very end of the video, I have to read this. It's a legal notice that put out by their quote unquote legal team. It says, by boarding this vessel, passengers agree to a 5-year commitment at sea with 0 exceptions. Carnival and Duolingo. They also partner with Carnival on this, obviously. Carnival and Duolingo are not responsible for any emotional, linguistic, or spiritual damages. Passengers waive the right to pursue legal action against Carnival or Duolingo, including participation in any class action lawsuits filed by Menchetti & Sons, LLC. All concerns will be handled by Duolingo's chief legal counsel, Legal Steve, using the litigation loop strategy, where claims are met with immediate counterclaims until the original complaint is forgotten.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
oh boy.
I mean, it's kind of a toss-up. I mean, I love D-Brent. That one's also really great. So, those are just a few of the things I saw for April Fools on the internet. Again, most things are not that funny, pretty dumb, and sadly still fool some people. But
yeah,
those ones are great. So there's my one more thing.
And that was a good one to end the podcast or the episode on. So good job. Well, listener, we appreciate you listening, especially going through a lot of that stuff we talked about for, price increases.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. If you want to get a hold of us or have a question or just want to, call out, Caleb on not making a video on the YouTube channel, please get a hold of us at callingallplatforms.com, our social medias, or even leave a comment on YouTube on that channel that we're talking about for the movie or video that he has not put up.
Yeah, well, whatever. I think all of the videos going forward are going to be, here's how you can, game and or do tech with the least amount of money humanly possible.
I mean, it's not a bad idea.
Provide a public service there.
It might not be a bad idea. Try it out. Be like, hey guys, this is actually a really good price on this here. Buy it or something. I don't know.
No, it's more like don't buy it. It's like, here's the best places to go scrounging for like garbage that you might be able to make function.
Right.
Because that's what you can afford. That's what I can afford. We're all there.
We're all there. Well, listener, we appreciate it. Well, listener, have a good week.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Calling All Platforms is a production of Supporter Sound Studios. To learn more about how you can support the podcast, go to www.patreon.com/callingallplatforms.